it's not. I'm no longer there.
Okay. Today's show is dedicated to Dr. Jane Goodall. And the Tom London Show is brought to you by Suzuki Kyalami, the home of happy customers.
The Tom London Show.
Something like that.
I feel good.
Do you feel good?
Thank you very much.
Come on in. On the show today, on top of Germiston there, looking out over the minions from Primrose Hill, is the one and only Alistair Jameson. And we cross to KZN to Durban, and today Terry van der Walt is our special co-host on the show. Hello, Terry.
Hello, Thomas. How are you doing?
I'm well. I decided I need to kick myself up my own backside. I've been in... Hold on. I must confess that the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks, I've been... I think it would be fair to say I've been depressed. And I've just been misluck. And I wake up every day and I'm in a bad mood, and I've been doing these shows in a bad mood, and it's been showing and it's been coming through. And today I woke up and I thought, oh man, you know what? I'm going to have to choose. Am I going to carry on being in a bad mood and misluck, or am I going to be happier? And then I decided I'm going to be happier. So thank you, Daryl. I'm well. How are you today, Terry, out of Durban?
Well, I'm all very well as well, Tom. And I do like your thinking. There is no happiness is an inside job. It really is an inside job, and you just have to keep making it inside job and move forward.
It gets tougher as you get older. It was easy when I was a kid, and now it's like, oh man. We'll talk about the things that make you happy and what you need in life on the show today. I thought we have a fat chat with friends today. We had quite a heavy show on Tuesday talking about corruption at the Tembisa Hospital, and as we ended the show, we got the news that the ambassador to France, former Minister Nathi Ntetwa, had fallen to his death. We ended the show in shock, and I think the country's still in shock. And since then, there have been one or two more people who have passed away or been assassinated, and I think we can expect more. How are you today? Extra Space? Brought to you by Extra Space. Alistair Jameson, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm so excited about today, because yesterday I was totally blown away.
It was your birthday.
120 people said happy birthday to me on my Facebook.
120 people love you, Alistair Jameson.
And more probably because there were some that forgot.
Sure, so 120 birthday wishes. Yeah. I see you spent the whole day saying thank you to people as they wished you happy birthday. And how old I did sing the song and I asked the question.
How old are you
didn't
now?
tell us how old you are now.
All right, I'll tell you.
You don't have to.
67 years ago.
6'7", eh? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, you're doing good.
I'm looking good. I feel good.
We'll get to the comments in just a moment as you say hello to us today. We'll pop your messages of hello or any comments you've got, any questions you've got, any observations you may have, anything that's on your mind really in the comment section, either on the YouTube video, hello to our YouTube viewers, or in the Tom's Army community in the comments underneath the live video. And these comments carry on post-live, by the way. People carry on chatting with each other late into the... Sometimes I hear ping, ping on my phone and think, what's going on? Oh, it's Gail Mortensen chatting to Una Gaida, or someone's chatting to somebody, or somebody's commenting on a comment that came in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The chats just continue, which is so nice. So I think part of the reason I've been getting is the headlines, man. Like the headlines have just been so depressing lately. Terry's a journalist, so he knows all about headlines. How did you manage to get through a whole lifetime of journalism without getting depressed?
It's quite a challenge, I must be honest. I must say the most difficult period was covering the pre-election violence in the late early 90s.
Yes.
That was very harsh to deal with.
That was hectic. I mean, hectic is an easy word to use. I remember I was catching the train. I was in Standard 9 when the late 89, 90, round about 90, I think it was round about there that the violence started. And unless you saw it with your own eyes, you really don't understand what was going on the ground in South Africa back in 1990. It was a hellish place to be.
Yeah, so that was certainly the most difficult one. And then also, interviewing people who've gone through trauma or loss or grief or any terrible thing. But then it requires you to just calm yourself down, go home, think about it. I often used to just come home and listen to classic music and sit and cry and get it out of me.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about the world is that there are loads of dreadful stories that can bring about a huge degree of bleakitude in your brain. But then for every one of those stories, there's another one that just knocks your socks off in terms of being a good feel-good story. True. Or laugh your ass off story, like the woman who chopped off her husband's private parts and cooked them the other day. I mean,
no.
It helps you overcome the grim stuff. Come on, Tom. It's weird, but it helps you get through it all.
Oh man, what did you think when you saw that Nathi Mthethwa had fallen to his death?
I think I immediately worked out that this was a self-harming exercise.
Really?
I still don't understand how no one heard or saw him going down. But I pretty much figured, no, he had taken his own life, which is really tragic. But then again, there are loads of people in our government who could also take a fly out the window, and we ought not to have any regrets.
Can't argue with
Humpty Dumpty.
Alistair believes he was pushed. There we go. But those kind of theories go down well in Oklahoma.
Oompa
Loompaville. Oh man! And I saw the sad news. I saw Dr. Jane Goodall had passed away.
Yeah,
that saddened me because there's an example of someone who led a good life and actually contributed to humanity. Unlike these cretins who drive around in 4 Lamborghinis and steal money from the sick and the dying.
And have 75 million rand houses in Camps Bay.
Yes, and I was going through her biography really, to try and understand the impact she made on people and why, when we see Dr. Jane Goodall passed away, why do we feel the sorrow we feel? Or why do we feel that she left her mark? And it was just interesting little tidbits, like she was the very first person who got us to take a look at primates in a brand new way. She was the first person who showed that chimpanzees weren't herbivores. She was the first person to show that there were chimpanzees using sticks as tools and that primates were actually way more intelligent than we gave them credit for. But perhaps more than that, she showed us in a world that consumes crazily that our natural habitats were under threat, that populations of animals were under threat, and really helped shift human thinking. To get us around to a place where most human beings agree that there's a place in the world for the animals and that we should not destroy our natural habitats. Whether we're getting that right or not, I don't know. I don't know if I've summarized her life properly. I don't know if you want to add anything, Terry.
Yeah, I saw it last night, and I also thought, rest in peace, Jane Goodall. You have done well.
Yeah.
And I posted something along the lines of, this is what an influencer really is.
Too true.
All these little wannabes,
too true.
The content creators, or whatever you want to call them, influencers, it's such a euphemism that means absolutely nothing.
Now look at me.
But Jane was an influencer, and I respected her and Gerald Durrell and Attenborough. These are the guys we grew up with, teaching us about things that we didn't know about, So, a wonderful woman, and she had a major impact.
A few years ago, I was in Diepsloot. I can't remember what I was doing there, but all of a sudden, someone put Jane Goodall up on a video link. in the little room I was in, and it was her birthday, and born on my mom's birthday, April 3rd. And so about 10 of us stood there singing happy birthday to her on a video link, which I'll never forget it. Never forget that little moment in my life that I just by accident got to sing happy birthday to her.
Cool.
All right,
interesting that Terry should mention Richard Attenborough.
Yeah.
Because I just saw a post on Facebook this morning from, I think it was on Richard Attenborough's post, but it must have been somebody else posting it, about honeybees being a very, very good source of relief for breast cancer. Well, apparently, if you're drinking proper honey or real honey, it alleviates breast cancer, and within a very short space of time.
Okay. Well, I don't know enough about bees or medicine to corroborate that. You saw that on Facebook, then it must be true. If it was on Facebook, of course it's true. If it's on X, then it's even more true. If it's on Truth, then it's the absolute truth. Okay, I want to get to the comment section. Let's see who's on board and what you got to say today. Unagaida. Get the name right. Unagaida says, hello everybody. Anita number 1 is on board. Helen Mitvach is on board. She's been suntanning today. Heather Knickelbein says, good afternoon, Dysfunctionals and Tom's Army. Rosie Brown says hi. Sheila Momsen is on board. Margaret Guida is on board. Glenda Loren says, good afternoon to everyone. Hope you're well. Wendy Kutsia is on board. Barbara Ann Glaus says, hi guys, we miss Tanya. I miss Tanya too. It's very weird not having Tanya in the background. I miss it. Oh, wow. Terry, you're going to have to give us a belly laugh at some point today. You've got the 3 wise men here today. Maybe. Heather Kroon says, hello, guys. Sheila Momsen says, we all love you, Alistair. Sorry about your mood, Tom. It's not funny, actually. A lot of people not in a good space right now. Empathy. Yeah, I am. Just being in a crappy space. But, you know, I know that I'm the master of my mood. And so when I'm in a rubbish mood, it's because I've chosen it. I don't want to, I will admit it. Okay, I'll admit it. I wake up in the morning and I think to myself, I don't want to be in a good mood today. And then I spend the rest of the day perfecting that. I'll admit it. I actually say it to myself. I don't want to be in a good mood today. Beverly Ann Lloyd says, hello, friends. Glenda Lawrence says, life is so hard. We need a happy show today. We're going to have a happy show today.
We're going to have.
Emily Hudson says, hi, Dysfunctional Tom's Army. Going to be a good show today. Blessed Born Day, says Sharon. That's Tanya Curry calling in on the show. But now she's on the line. Terry's on. So I'm not going to sacrifice Terry for Tanya. I mean, Terry paid his dues today to get you.
So we have to make a belly laugh.
Sharon says, blessed born day, Alistair. My prayer for you, Alistair, is that you may have an encounter with Jesus Christ, the Lord and the Savior. He loves you, Alistair. That's for our atheist, Alistair.
Yeah.
Tanya's left a voice message. I'm too scared to play it because if it's a private one, it could be anything on there, you know.
Oh, boy.
I don't mean it that way. We just don't know what could come out. Gillian Corona's on board. Who else have we got here?
There, Gillian.
Oh, my word. Cooked testicles, says Gillian. Oh, that's in response to your story, Terry. Did she do the Frank and the beans? Oh, my goodness, says Heather. Boerewors for lunch? Oh, that's you, Alistair. You're typing in the comment section as well. Okay.
I'm always in the comment section.
I see this. Margaret says, very sad about Jane Goodall. Steve Irwin was also amazing. We were chatting earlier. You were talking about his son earlier, Terry.
Yeah, what a fine young man. And he certainly knows how to dance.
Yeah, because he's doing the Strictly Come Dancing.
Yeah, Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars.
And he did another one now where he ripped his shirt off, and of course that went wow on social media.
All the girls went wee!
And you know what I found so interesting? I saw yesterday that he did an interview with some podcaster, and they asked him who his first crush was when he was a teenager.
Yes.
And it was Chris Hemsworth, the Australian actor.
That's brilliant.
And I thought that's quite cool for him to be so frank
honest
and
kid.
honest.
Honest kid. Carol Hall says, Tom, my used to try that in the 70s, eh, Terry? My man cries, you'll get a clap. No, it isn't. Cara Hall, Tom, my friend Hilda from Belgium worked with Jane Goodall with her foundation. Hilda also represents Vervet Monkey Sanctuary in South Africa. Hello, everybody. Patsy Ridlinghuis is on board. Sanette Oosthuizen is on board. Helen is in the pool watching.
Oh, boy.
Vanessa Schmidt says, hi from rural Essex. Hello, Vanessa. Thank you for joining us. How is Tonya and her mom doing? They're strong. They're back home for a bit of a rest, and hopefully everything just progresses well for them. You know that our prayers are with them. Miss Tonya, hello from a cold and windy Durban. Is it cold and windy in Durbs today?
Apparently.
Not windy where I am, but it is cold. The temperature is low, and I'm still wearing my French Philippe Philopes, but that's just because I'm a tough boy.
You can't get the Transvaal out of you, Terry.
You see?
Brenda Hall says, Al, anything to shrink sarcomas except for treatment, had chemo and radiation, just had fourth tumor removed this year. Wow, Brenda. Our thoughts and prayers are with you as well. Randy Wilson says, hello all. Ish, Tonya, brutal shutdown before. But the problem is she's coming in on the line that Terry's on. So then Terry's gone. And how are we going to get Tonya on? I think I can get her on, actually. Shall we try call her?
Yeah,
Should we? All right, first I've got to connect this device, which is the story of my life, connecting devices and telling the parrot to shut up. Shut up!
Shut up!
Share the screen, start broadcast. Okay. I've got another device here, and I think there's enough. And then I just got to hook it up to the Bluetooth. Okay, let's see. Sorry, there's a whole lot going on with my fingers at the moment, trying to get hold of Tonya and get her up and running. I've just got to get the audio on this device attached to the desk, which is only going to take me a second. And Billy will chirp and chime in, of course. And still not connected. Okay. We try this again. All right. I think what I'm going to do is while we're chatting, I'll do that. Otherwise, you just sit and look at me playing on my phone for a while. The question I wanted to ask everyone today was, how much is enough? People are asking where in Durban you are, Terry.
I'm in Westville North, up in Westville.
Where that's like Durban proper.
Yeah, that's the next Berea, behind the Berea in Durban. So it's the next ridge before you get the Hillcrest Kloof Ridge. So it's just inland of the city. I can't see the sea where I am because I'm behind the ridge. But yeah, I look inland. I look into a huge forest. So I really do love living here.
Nice part of the world. Okay, Tonya, let's try call Tonya. Seeing as she was trying to call us in the middle of the show, let's try and call her. I just have to hold the phone in front of me and see if we can get her online quickly. All right, it's ringing.
Hello?
Margaret says, you keep telling Billy to shut up. Give him to me, Tom. I'll give him kisses. There she is. There she is. Ladies and gentlemen, there she is. You know we're live.
I'm not live, am I?
Yes, you were calling me during the show, so we've called you back. All right, I won't put you on screen because I can see you're busy with the oven there or something.
Those are boxing gloves.
I love everybody. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
See, I knew she didn't. I knew it. She didn't click. Well, there we go. You got your small dose of Tonya. She's busy cooking at the moment. Clearly. Terry is close to me, says Anita. Westville is lovely. Woodcutters, Terry. What does that mean? Woodcutters. Is that
Must be a pub. Must be a
No,
pub.
I don't know woodcutters, but yes, of course, I go there frequently. I used to call it the lumberjack restaurant, but woodcutters, yeah, that's my local. Yeah.
All right, and you got some friends on board. You've got neighbours. You got Mandy Wilson, who's further up the hill in Kloof, on the edge of the gorge. You got Mandy in Anita in Pinetown. So you got some KZN peeps on the show today. Okay, so here's the question I got. How much is enough? I'm watching these headlines on the news. Guys are buying 3 Lamborghinis at a time, and they're 5 million a pop, and 75 million rand houses, and it's clearly greed that's gone out of control. But the whole morning I've been wondering to myself, and I often ask myself this question: what is enough? And I always ask for me, what do I think is enough? But I wanted to throw the question back at you today, and you, as you watch the show, what is enough? We live in a country with a high unemployment rate, where some people are just scraping to get by. Many people just scraping to get by. And what realistically should South Africans aspire to? I mean, if you were 18 years old, what would be your goal in life financially? What is enough? I'd like to know what enough is for you. Have you achieved it? Have you got there? Have you scaled down so that it's enough? Have you lived a big life? Have you lived a small life? Have you lived both? What's your philosophy? Let's start with you, Alistair. What's enough?
Interestingly that you should ask that question, because I heard the other day that Harvard University did a study on exactly that question with the 20, 30-somethings.
Yes.
And apparently $120,000 a year is enough.
Yeah, I've read a similar study, and it may have been amended now, because about 15 years ago the amount was $80,000, and that was linked to happiness levels in human beings. So, in other words, if you start at zero, you're desperately unhappy because you've got no money, and then your happiness increases as you get closer to $100,000 a year. But then after that, it doesn't matter whether you make $1 million, 100 million, $1 billion. It does absolutely diddly squat to your happiness. So scientifically, you say it's about, well, in rands, that would be 1.8 million rand or thereabouts.
Something like a year.
Would you call that enough?
I don't know. I mean, for me, 25,000 rand a month is enough, because it covers my basic expenses, it covers my rent, it covers my food, and it covers my entertainment.
Where does middle class start in South Africa now? I seem to recall a number of around 500,000 per annum sometime back.
I would think so, yes. But middle class is so small. You've got your lower class, you've got your upper class, and then the middle class is like, what are your discs in your spine getting thinner and thinner and thinner?
Well, let's move away from money and talk about stuff. What do you need?
I need chocolate cake.
I see this. But what do you need besides chocolate cake?
Medication?
Medication, yes. Okay, chocolate cake, medication. We've got those two under control. A roof over your head, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
not much else there, Terry. Chocolate cake, a roof, and medication, and he's good to go.
Yeah. And a nice warm bed with a lovely Humphy duvet.
Yes, that you can share with your ex-wife.
No.
Well, you don't know the backstory here. We have to keep telling people who are new to the show.
Yeah.
Alistair lives with his ex-wife.
And my 2 sons.
And his 2 sons. But they're not ex. The wife is.
Yeah.
Terry says nothing. His face hasn't changed at all. He's stone-faced, like Clint Eastwood.
We were just talking about it this morning.
What were you talking about? You and your ex-wife?
That and my sons.
Oh, really?
The very fact that we are in this situation seems that they believe that this is God's will.
God's will, Terry. It's very hard for an atheist to hear. Very hard for an atheist to hear.
I'm not going to judge. I'm going to leave that up to God.
Terry, what's enough for you? I must put a disclaimer here, because I've known Terry for. I met you in 2000, so I've known you for 25 years.
Yeah.
When I answered, I needed a place to stay midweek initially when I was working in nightclubs, that I could come home at 3 o'clock in the morning and not bug everybody. And I opened the newspaper, and I'll never forget the ad. It said garden cottage to rent, night owl wanted. And I thought, perfect. And I went to live at Terry's house in the backyard. And I've seen Terry live different kinds of lives. Like, you've lived the high life as well. I've never seen anyone who can party as much as I saw you party back in 2000.
Yeah, back in my naughty raving days.
The raving days.
I can't swear to what exactly went down my throat in those wicked and wild days. Okay.
What's
but
in?
It was fun.
Do you see? So that's why I'm asking. What's enough? Is it a party every night? Is it a TV in the corner of the house that's paid for? What is enough?
I think that enough should just be that you got a bit of extra cash in your account at the end of the month, that you've paid all your bills, you've got good food, and you've got a roof over your head, and that you have fewer things. So I found that as I've got older, I've needed less. And I live in a small cottage now, whereas back in the day, I had a big dinner table,
of course,
dinner for 12 people, and big mass entertainment. Whereas now, I've got 4 plates. And I'm not going to get any more. So I can't have more than 3 people for dinner, and I'm quite happy with that, actually.
You think that happens as we get older? We require less. I think most people.
Yeah.
I don't include billionaires. They seem to need more as they get older. It doesn't work like that with billionaires. Do you think something happens to your brain when you become a billionaire?
I think so.
Yeah. Let's ask Alistair. Alistair, did anything happen to your brain when you became a billionaire?
I'm working on my second million.
Okay. So we know the punchline.
Yeah.
But deliver it anyway.
The first one was a total flop.
Yeah, he messed it up. Okay. I'm just living off the bank, says Una, until the world resets financially. At this rate, it won't be long. If not, hopefully I get chowed by a shark before the bank comes for me. Sometimes people ask me what my retirement plan is, and I go, work up until the day I die. What else we got here? There's no more middle class. You're either rich or you're poor, says Gillian. Margaret says, I think enough is about your mindset. Money can't buy happiness. And I know a lot of people who are desperately unhappy and have lots of money. Brenda says, all of the above and lots of love. Yeah, Brenda put love into it. Alistair is still eating cake, says Anita. How's your weight? Because you were worried when they made you climb on the animal scale at the hospital last week or whenever, 2 weeks back. I mean, I remember you telling me that you were so worried about your weight and that they made you climb on the scale for very large people or animals.
Yeah, I was. And I still am.
Okay.
And
are you just going to diet after the birthday?
I eat cake every day. I mean, you only have one birthday a year, and that's for that reason.
So I don't have cake in the house. A month ago, I saw, those cake mixes? Yeah. It was a chocolate cake mix with icing included. And all you need to throw in an egg and some milk or whatever and beat this thing and put it in the oven. And I baked a beautiful, big, rich, dark, full of icing chocolate cake. And then for 3 days, that's all I ate. I ate no vegetables. I ate no protein.
You tell me that I'm not allowed to.
Well, but I'm honest about my weight. I
wasn't dishonest.
That's true.
In fact, I think I've actually lost a little bit of weight.
Keep on eating cake. It will do doing wonders for you. Do you sleep in the same bed, Alistair? Asks yes. Anita.
Yes.
People aren't interested in the topic, Terry. They want to know if he sleeps in the same bed as his ex-wife.
There's barbed wire down the middle of it.
There's barbed wire down the middle. Oh, there's a good one. All journalists can party. Do you think journalists deserve that reputation? Heavy drinkers. Many people have said that journos, those guys can drink.
They can drink, no, it's true, but not so much the younger generation of journalists. They tend to be a lot more
corporate,
and keep their noses clean. Yeah, they're definitely a different breed to the old guy. We used to drink with both hands and then slobber our way into work the next day. You just don't see that anymore.
No. What happened to the rock stars, Terry? Mandy Wilson says, or Pat says, so true, Terry. We require less as we age. Mandy Wilson says, enough for me is in order. My family to be healthy. Health comes before money. After that, for me, it was to privately educate my kids, own my own home, and one day retire with enough not to struggle and live a quiet life with enough spare to tour game parks. I don't need or want designer anything. I get more pleasure from building and creating our own things. We have renovated our own home slowly ourselves. Spare funds we put into animal rescue. I could never live like that false, fast life of the rich and the Botox. That's nice. She seems like she's got it all worked out, Mandy Wilson.
Absolutely.
Yeah? These kind of things require, from that story, what I take out of it is that it takes decades. The house gets renovated slowly as you can afford it over the years, and you build the pension plan slowly over the years. But we don't live in a world like that anymore. We live in a quick, come on, quick world. Get rich, quick world. Eh?
Yeah.
Margaret Guida says, Terry, please help us here with Tom's moods. I just find it a bit sad. I can see you have lots of life experience. I used to work, and the first restaurant I worked in was the Prime Grill in Northmead in Benoni, and that's when I met Terry, and I was renting the garden cottage. And I got my brother Nick to come and help me run the restaurant, and then I gave him a bed at the end of my bed. And so at the end of the night, Nick and I would arrive back at Terry's place, and Terry had a jacuzzi in the backyard. And it was you kindly leave it on for me if you weren't in it, and I would get back from a hard day's work, and there'd be this beautiful hot jacuzzi waiting for me to sit in. And that's when I think of Terry, I think of that jacuzzi. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
no,
you don't have to pick up on that one if you don't want to. So.
I was trying not to.
Okay, all right. Are we leaving it there? Okay. I'm living off Sasa, says Glenda Lawrence. As
Just
many people are. Alistair,
Yeah,
also
me too.
living off Sasa. Anita says, that's exactly what I'm doing now. I'm decluttering and scaling down. Pat agrees with Mandy. Eunice says, retirement plan. What's that? I think if you're 50 or younger, chances are you haven't really thought about retirement, because we all grew up in this era where you go get the car now because you get a loan, and you get to this now and you get a loan, and the next thing you turn 40, you turn 50, and you realize that you've left this retirement thing very, very late. Whereas when I was a child, it was conversation in families and homes. Retirement was a word that was flung around a lot more, I think, in the 70s and 80s. Maybe
The
I'm
number
wrong.
of people in their 60s and 70s who are now suddenly discovering that they need an extra income because they haven't got enough in their retirement plans.
Do you think this has something to do with how we've all splintered into our little faith popcorn nodes,
Yes.
our bubbles,
Yep.
and so we don't live together anymore? Families fracture. Economically, we want to be independent, and so we don't have the kind of families and community we used to have. I don't know. Maybe I'm just sounding old here.
I would agree with you, Tom, because back in the day, I mean, when I say back in the day, I'm not talking about when I was a kid. I'm talking a good 300, 400, 500 years ago. The families that were there stayed as a family. You lived in a village. You grew up in that village.
Yeah, you born in the house,
You lived
had the honeymoon in the house, died in the
growing
house.
vegetables in the yard.
Yeah.
You had a couple of animals in the yard, and that's what you lived from, and that's how you made your money.
Do you think we'll ever go back there?
Yes.
Do you think so, Terry?
Yeah. Post-apocalyptically, we will. We will get back to milking our own cows, discovering that there aren't strawberry-flavored cars, discover that you can live off cow's milk again. And, I think it's very possible that we could land up in a world where it is a hybrid between the fast and furious of now and the good old days that Alistair speaks of.
When there's no more work to do and you've got to sit at home and do whatever we're going to do in the future. But Alistair is not big, says Anita. There we go, Alistair.
Thank you.
Yes, with barbed wire. Oh, that's you with barbed wire down the center of the bed. Alistair, you're too funny, says Pat. Linda says, how's it? I cut out alcohol and lost 17 kilos. That was almost 5 years ago, so don't give the man a bells. That's you, Alistair.
Just make it a double.
Make it an electric fence, Alistair, says Anita.
Whoa!
Yes, all media are party animals. I know. I was one, says Helen. There we go. Guilty as charged. It's the Generation X that has the biggest drinking problem right now, I think, says Margaret. I don't know. I don't know too many Generation X's or what they get up to. But I know that there's a lot of alcohol consumed in South Africa on a daily basis. That's for sure. Generation X and millennials still have a huge alcohol problem. Gen Z not so much, or Gen Z not so much, but they are permanently baked, says Una. Okay. Gillian Corona says, oh my word, we used to go there and there was a club, Rack and Ruin, upstairs. Yes, Rack and Ruin. I remember Rack and Ruin. Where was Rack and Ruin? Joburg somewhere. I remember the name, Rack and Ruin. Mandy is one of the few people that has her head screwed on the right way, says Margaret. Terry is a good person, says Anita. Una says, we have a jacuzzi. That thing is dangerous if you host a get-together. It's broken now. I knew the jacuzzi story wouldn't go away. I've said it before on the show, but I'm a member of the I Love Four Ways group just for the occasional post that pops up, and the one that I look for, and it pops up every 3 months or so, and I laugh because someone goes, hi, I Love Four Ways fam. Need some help here, please. I'm looking for a getaway within 2 hours of Joburg, suitable for a romantic getaway with my hubby. Must have jacuzzi. And then everybody thinks the same thing at the same time. Eunice says, there's no guarantee you'll make it to old age. I'm alive now and I need to live now. There we go. She'll take her chances. Pat says, we have a good retirement plan after my husband worked for Transnet for 45 years. The house and the car is paid for. Both of our kids have their own businesses. That's nice. She's in a good position. Annette Jacob says, hi, my friends. Retirement isn't fun if you're in it responsibility because more, and what you said is true. Family splits up, you become alone, and you end up with more responsibilities, is what Annette says. You got family members that you got to look after. Kathleen Besson says, less is definitely more. Time with my family, tomatoes in my fridge, clean linen, good coffee, board games played around the table, and endless books to read. I was going to bring up the fridge because I think some people need a lot of stuff in their fridge to feel okay, and then some people don't. I don't know about you, Terry, but do you need a lot of stuff in your fridge? My fridge is shockingly bare. My deep freeze is full, but my fridge itself, if you go in there, you'll think I'm not eating.
No, my fridge is full of stuff like strawberries at the bottom that have got fuzz growing on them like
got grey beards.
Looking at me all sad, yes, I'm bringing you fresh strawberries. So I'm very bad when it comes to perishable goods. But that whole thing of having enough, I cook in bulk and then I freeze little mini meals all over the place. But I don't have to have a fully stocked fridge to feel as though I'm okay, you know?
Yeah, I got milk in my fridge. I got long life milk in my fridge. I got a Coke in my fridge. I got butter. I've got some sauces like tomato sauce, mustard, sweet chili sauce, mayonnaise. I've got some sliced beetroot and some pickles. That's like the sum total of what sits in my fridge.
That's all you need.
Yeah, that's mine. Yours? Do you need a full fridge, or you got a light version?
Generally speaking, my fridge has a lot of leftovers from 2 or 3 days ago's meal.
Oh, is it? You cook extra?
But we cook, and then somebody doesn't eat their food because they're not feeling that hungry right then. And then it goes into a Tupperware and it goes into the fridge, and a week later you go, oh, this has gone off, let's throw it away.
Yeah, I've got a system for the stuff that goes off. When it goes off, I leave it there until it gets hard. And then I put it in a packet and I put it in the deep freeze and I freeze it until Monday when the rubbish truck comes around. And then I've got to remember to get the frozen off stuff out of the deep freeze on a Monday morning. That's my system. Because like I had it the other day. No, I had it the other day. I had butternut that I knew I couldn't eat anymore. And I was like, oh man, what am I going to do with this? Because if I put it in a packet, it's going to start smelling. So in the it went into the deep freeze. There's a special drawer for the stuff that's gone fraught in my deep freeze, and it gets emptied on a Monday. Tom, are you Gen X? What is Gen X? I was born in 1972. I'm 53 next month.
Did you Gen X?
Am I Gen X? Okay, yeah, I'm Gen X, you know. Mandy says, I'm already doing everything I can to self-provide. I love it. I grow my own veggies and fruit and coffee. Really? You grow your own coffee? You're the first person I've ever met who grows their own coffee. I beekeep to pollinate the garden and fruit and veg trees and plants, chickens for eggs, JoJo tanks for watering, everything and solar on the roof. Can't explain the pleasure it all brings. That's a lot of people dream of a life like that.
Yeah, that's true. I do, as one. That's my perfect lifestyle.
In Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Carol Hall, I totally agree with you. Families live on all on their own. You don't even hear or see them, even if you try and keep in contact. I'd rather live like my parents taught me. We do not have enough to retire on, despite having had a pension from age 20. We've had to use it to keep up with inflation. I think a lot of people are in that position. Yeah. And a lot of people recently are telling me that the electricity went up the last couple of months to like crazy levels where they were paying 1,000 Rand a month and now they're paying 3,000 Rand a month. So I don't know. You can tell me. Has your electricity bill gone up? The Eskom made 12 billion Rand profit this year, so you know where your increase rates are. Yeah. Financially, I'm blessed, says Annette. Loneliness is my problem. Independency makes it difficult to change. And that's my problem too. I say, I've got friends that say, how are you doing? I say, I've got lonely-nitis. I have too much lonely-nitis. I need a dog. Terry's got a dog. Alistair's got a dog. I haven't got a dog.
Well, I've got my landlord's dog.
Best dog to have.
We spend more time here than it does at their house.
Best dog to have. Someone else's dog. They can buy our jacuzzi, says Una. It eats up too much electricity. Retirement is a foreign word in my home. Quite scary, says Margaret. We can't fill our fridges because so often there's no electricity, says Anita. I'm guilty of that, says Mandy. I need a full fridge and freezer, but I'm always in mom mode. See, there are some people that if they opened the fridge and saw what they saw in your fridge, Terry, or mine, they would go, oh no, I better go out and buy stuff. Mandy's one of them. On a long enough timeline, the survival rate for everyone goes to 0. Actually, Una's very positive today. She's our Pollyanna on the show today, Una. Hey, Una? Some people have pressed the like button, some have pressed the heart button, some have laughed. One said, wow, and we haven't made anyone cry. We're not doing our jobs properly. And those are the people we love, by the way. Those are our friends. If you haven't pressed those buttons, then you're not on the same level as the esteemed friends we have who have. Tom, please try and bake another cake for yourself. It might just lift your mood a little. Who knows? No, I'm starting to lose a bit of weight, so I don't want to blow that. We do that too, Tom says, Heather. We freeze the off stuff until dustbin day. I'm glad I'm not the only person. Brenda says you can always freeze it, feed the soil, and in the earthworm sort your soil out. Margaret Guider says the electricity has gone up like a bastard. Una Guider says my family is tiny and thank goodness I'm blessed. My electricity killed me in winter, says Una. Heather Kroon says yes, it's disgusting, this electricity. Tom, get a Doberman, says Una. I'm very blessed, says Mandy. I get an average of 1.5 to 2 kilos of coffee a month from one tree. My third tree will produce soon, and the other two are still young, so that will increase. Great honey from the bees as well. Emily says there's very little in my cold dustbin. A fridge is a useless waste of space. My dad used to call the fridge in the house in the bush the rotting cabinet because my mother never threw anything out. If you said, like, I need milk, he'd go have a look in the rotting cabinet, and you'd open it up and you see, my goodness, you see Wits University's biology experiments in front of you. Anyway, all right, so it seems most of the people who watch this show don't need a whole lot to be happy. Didn't see anyone say, I need a Lamborghini, I need a Ferrari, I need a jet. I flew in a Lear 45 years ago. I flew in this beautiful private jet. Came up from Cape Town in this Lear 45. I was the only one sitting in the back of it. Oh, man, I understand why people buy jets, because you don't have to go through that zigzag line the zigzag line at the airport before you go through the metal detector? Yeah. Not if you got your own jet. Somebody hollers at the top of their voice, VIP coming through, and then a secret door opens and you bypass everybody. You get on a little combi which takes you straight to the jet, and the pilot says ready to go, and you go, yeah, waiting for some ma from Krugersdorp to get on with her 2 kids with their shovels and their spades to go down on the holiday with Checkers packets off to Durban and fly Safair. None of that nonsense. You just sit there and eat your caviar and you fly back in comfort. So quiet, whisper smooth. I came back to Joburg and I landed and I thought, oh man, how do you get one of these? And then I looked at the price of the plane, and secondhand they're about 100 million rand. And I thought, that's a lot of money, and not even the lotto buys you that. And so I was like, how do you get the plane? And I was thinking, and then I phoned a friend of mine, and I said to my friend, I've just got off this Lear 45. This is the way to travel. I mean, I've got to find a way to get one. And my friend, what my friend said to me? My friend said, yeah, Tom. Yeah, Tom, that's how you become a Gupta. And never a truer word spoken. It really hit hard that day. I thought, okay, so all this greed and corruption that we see, and this looting and this stealing, it's to get your backside into a leather seat on a private jet or a very fast car because it feels nice. It's just so unfortunate. So unfortunate. Anyway, we're 14 minutes away from the end of the show, and I am wondering what's on your mind. So pop that in the comment section. Terry, what's on your mind? I haven't asked you today.
Well, you're talking about this whole thing of how much is enough and what is enough. And it got me thinking about something that happened to a friend a few years ago, where a friend passed away, and she hadn't really made a plan to get rid of her stuff.
Yeah.
And this friend of mine got dragged into getting rid of, sending stuff to hospice shop, etc. And she said, guys, do yourselves a favor and start to lose all of this stuff. Get rid of it, because you don't want it to become someone else's problem, your relatives or friends' problem later on. So I decided to take that one step further. So when I go and visit people, I take a chocolate. I do like to take chocolate to people, or maybe a bottle of wine. But in the bag, I spirit away a whole lot of dust collectors, and I leave them at their houses. So I secretly give away my stuff.
Make it someone else's problem is what you're doing.
And make it somebody else's problem. And I'm waiting for people to come back and ask me if I dropped that horrible little porcelain figurine at their house.
Don't you tell them? You just leave it there.
No, when they're not looking, I just leave stuff all over their houses.
That's fantastic.
I think it's the future. It's the way to get rid of stuff without being accused of passing your rubbish on to other people.
Oh, man. I think there are people who say, oh, I'm a collector. And then you go into their house and they collect this and they collect that. And people who say, oh, I'm a collector, or it's got sentimental value, they can't get rid of it. I always think of the day that they pass on, because someone's going to come in there, probably a young person, and go, does anyone here want this wooden figurine with Switzerland written on it? Nah. Into the rubbish bag. And how many things that you've treasured and loved and looked at in your life are going to get put on the rubbish dump when you go?
Yeah.
When my mom passed away, we had to go through her house, because she stayed in a little one-bedroom cottage in a retirement village in Margate. And we had to go through the house. We had to go through the fridge. We had to go through the cupboards in the kitchen. We had to go through all the bits and pieces that she'd had as knickknacks displayed in the lounge area. We took a couple of paintings, a couple of chairs.
Where did the rest land up? All the treasured things, decades of polishing and displaying.
I'm getting to that. It all went to an auctioneer.
Yeah.
That had to auction all of that stuff off and take whatever proceeds came from the auction and put it into the estate.
Okay. Was it a lot of money? All the knickknacks?
It was about 35,000 rand.
Oh, so the knickknacks there was some value to the little knickknacks.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to get to is that there is a market for auctioneers trying to sell off sentimental old knickknacks from sentimental old biddies, you know.
That's the funny thing about it, is that somebody hangs on to something for 30 years, and then they go, and then it goes to an auctioneer, and then another person goes, "Ooh, I like that," and then they hold on to it for another 30 years. And it all comes from China.
By the time the third or the fourth person asks, "What's that?" he goes, "I don't know. I just bought it at an auction."
That's right. It was 2 for the price of 1. I couldn't let it go. And literally donated 2 trucks of stuff to hospice yesterday and today, says Anita. I'm going to ask Stan Katz to get you a dog in the name of... No, you can't ask Stan. He's crossed over to the dark side. Stan got himself a cat. I am shocked because Stan has always been a dog man. He used to have miniature Yorkies for years. And then the other day I saw him and we were having coffee and he said, "I got a cat now." And I went, "What? I got a cat." I said, "You got a cat? Are you okay with that after being a dog person all your life?" And he said, "It's different." He's a man of few words, but he put it succinctly. "It's different." And Stan goes home to his cat every day, so he won't be getting me dogs. He's crossed over. Took 2 boxes to the charity shop the other day. We'll take more, says Helen. I've got about 60 photo albums I just cannot throw away. And you know, I've got them. I got some in my spare room here that my mother was hanging on to. I don't know who great-great-great-grandfather Olaf Johansson or whoever he was in that black and white picture with the beard. No, man.
Hang on to them.
Why?
Don't throw them away. Because somebody
mean nothing to me, man.
Somebody somewhere is looking for that photograph because their genealogy...
Not a chance, eh? Not a chance. Some Danish guy from 1890 or something standing with some people that no one knows these people. Boxes full of this crap in this room of like old ghosts of the past.
How far back does your genealogical tree go?
To 800 on my mother's side. Beat that. My answer was quick, so...
No, exactly. Mine goes back to 1680.
Yeah.
And I've got photographs. I've got
really
diaries.
Somebody in your family is not going to give a damn about that one day. All of that ancient history of the Jameson clan will go in a rubbish bin. For sure it will. You better make instructions.
Yes, I have.
If you care so much about your old black and white pictures of ghosts of the past. My goodness.
A lot of my pictures, I've taken pictures of and put them online, so they're digital now.
There we go. My friend did that, even gave my jewelry to my kids, the furniture to underprivileged people. I have only bare necessities in my place, says Annette.
There you are, you've got a kid.
She pared down, as they would say. This is exactly what I'm going to do right now, getting rid of stuff, especially if it's sentimental, says Anita. 100%, says Edward. Correct. Size down. All of that is possible, but Scorpion is really soft but difficult. Here we go again with the jet story, Tom. Yeah, I've still got that thing on my mind, but I don't think I would, I know I wouldn't. I wouldn't sacrifice my own morals or rules or whatever to get something like that. I'd rather do without and go to sleep at night with a good conscience. I don't know how these guys that steal so much go to sleep at night. Somebody asked the other day, well, how do they sleep? I'm like, on Egyptian cotton. They're probably very well, with a big legal team in the background. But I don't know. Like, what is it that makes someone so bloody thieving that they can go around and feel okay about stealing $800 million? It just blows my mind. Blows my mind.
Crazy.
I wouldn't mind if people behaved like Robin Hood, where they steal from the rich, or in this case, the fiscus, from the tax man,
and gave to the poor.
Go and build houses for the poor, or open up clinics, or early childhood development centers, or something. But to spend it on French champagne, Egyptian cotton, and Lamborghinis and stuff is just so excessive. I have such a problem with that mindset.
Me too.
That requires all of that stuff. It's a mental illness.
I think so too. And I also, and I've said this before, I'm passionate about this, that when we talk about what an entrepreneur is, that's not what an entrepreneur is. It's been held up to young people for so long that an entrepreneur is someone who gets rich quick and drives a Lambo up and down Rivonia Road. That's not an entrepreneur. you know.
Yeah.
Women who get up in the morning with their cleaning business and go and clean houses for the day, and they build a little business to bring money, and that's an entrepreneur. Somebody who cooks hot dogs outside the school, and those are entrepreneurs. Those are, in my opinion, those are the real entrepreneurs. Those are
Back to
people
the horrible roles again.
doing the grind. Listening daily to the news is depressing, says Annette. Stealing from the poor kills me. In 100 years, who will remember us? I always ask that question. In 100 years, who's actually... People say, oh, what do you want your legacy to be? I say, well, what? 1 year after I'm gone? 1 day after I'm gone? 100 years? Because 100 years after I'm gone, chances are no one's going to be talking about me. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, we are not all Cecil John Rhodeses and that kind of thing.
No, we don't stand in. Not all of us stand in Cape Town and go, I want to conquer this whole bloody place from here to Cairo. It's all mine. Right? God save the Queen. Let's go. Terry, I loved Andre Stander who robbed the banks. Do you remember him? Asks Margaret.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Andre Stander, the Stander gang. Gosh.
Do you remember the Stander gang?
Yeah, it was before my journalism career, but I do remember it well.
Yeah, I was a kid, and I remember being in Springs. We were told on police file to be on the lookout for Andre Stander driving a Porsche 911 Targa around. And in fact, he's probably the very first person who stole a lot of money and bought fancy cars and showed them off. It's like our first real example, Andre Stander. And I remember standing in the corner of Nigel Road in Charterland, hoping that Andre Stander would drive past so I could get a look at this gangster hero type. Years later, I made friends with Alan Hale, who was Andre Stander, Lee McCall, and Alan Hale were the Stander gang. And Alan Hale came out of prison, and I interviewed him, and then I became friends with him. And he used to rent a place in Joburg, and he was on the speaking circuit telling children not to steal. And I'd go have lunch with him at his place, and I met him many times and had long conversations with Alan Hale. And he always, I would always try and pry it out of him, because this was a big thing when I was a kid, and I used to say, Alan, is the movie accurate? And he'd go, somewhat. And then I'd go, well, come on, Alan, there must be stories you can tell me. And he'd go, I don't want to glorify what we did. He was very passionate about, he was reformed. His criminal activities had come from a space where he never felt he had enough, and self-doubt and low self-esteem. And he was very articulate when it came to explaining where the criminal nature of his came from. And he was not a proponent of like glamorizing crime at all. And I worked on him for weekends, man. I come on, Alan, there must be one story, but come on. And then one day, like a year later, I said to him, come on, man, Alan, there must be one that you did that you like, come on, it wasn't in the... And he said to me, you know, one day we were sitting at the house in Houghton, and Andre said, why don't we go steal all the foreign exchange at Jan Smuts Airport? And so they thought it'd be a good idea to get in the Ford Cortina, put on their safari suits and take briefcases. And they walked into then Jan Smuts, walked to the foreign exchange desk, told the people they'd come from the treasury, and they were there to pick up all the foreign exchange. They didn't pull any guns or anything. They just told them they were from the government. And the airport officials handed over every dollar, every pound, every franc. They left the airport with all of South Africa's foreign currency. And I said, and tell me, Alan, what? He said, hell, we sat in the Cortina in the parking lot of Jan Smuts waiting for the sirens, but they never came. And I thought, man, we did it today. So there was one that he took to his grave with him that he was proud of. And I actually never mentioned it while he was alive, but he's not here anymore, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind me mentioning that. But the Stander gang, I remember them, yeah.
Yeah, Andre Stander was taken out by the cops in Florida.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Luckily, when I left my previous employer, I then knew that I left a legacy, and this is enough, says Annette. Yeah, Annette used to work for the Reserve Bank. She's done a lot for this country. She doesn't blow her own trumpet, but she's done some big things. Annette was a big boss in this country. Big boss. Billy needs your attention, says Anita. Yeah, can you hear it? How can I get into something kind of glamorous crime like Andre Stander, asks Margaret Guyder. Crime pays in this country. I don't know. I don't have a criminal mind. I honestly don't. I've known people with criminal minds that they've got a certain character and a certain nature. I haven't got it. I remember you must have gone out and walked out of a shop with something in the trolley that you never paid for. You forgot, or it was hidden there or something. You get to the parking lot and you go, oh my goodness. I tremble. It's happened to me. I tremble. I shake. I run back before they call the cops on me. I just can't do it. I've known people, and I think it's in your character. I've known people, you go to the shops with them and you get to the till and they get in arrest and you're like, what did you do? You find out they chowed biltong while you were doing the shopping and threw the wrapper underneath. That's a criminal nature. It's inbred. It's in you. I don't know where it comes from. Margaret, I can't advise you. I don't know of any glamorous crime like Andres Standers.
Go and work in a hospital and work with nappies and start selling nappies.
There we go. You sell 400,000 Rand buckets and 1 million Rand pencils. So that will get you rich quickly.
Also, what about OnlyFans?
Hey, now there's an idea. Terry, this is why we need you on the show. We may have just found Margaret Guyder's pension plan here today. You need an OnlyFans account, Margaret. Yeah. I don't know what you do once you get your OnlyFans account, but let us know. Alistair, we've lost Alistair. Is trying to reconnect. Otherwise, it's a brutal shutdown for Alistair Jameson today. And I remember the Krugersdorp robbery. We never found out who they were, says Glenda. Oh, that was a big bank robbery. They went underground, I think. Okay.
You went underground.
The what?
You went underground.
No, talking about the Great Krugersdorp robbery. I think it was an underground robbery where they dug a tunnel from the building next door, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. All right. Well, Terry's quiet. Is it afternoon nap time?
No, it's way past that.
Oh, is it?
Don't get caught sleeping on screen in this place because they never let you forget
It's happened to Alistair before. He passes.
No, I'll try to keep my peepers open.
He passes out from time to time. But you've done well today, Terry. You're still awake, and that's a good thing.
Thank you.
All right. I think we're going to wrap it up. It's 4:00, and I'll be back with you on Tuesday at 3 p.m. And, we'll see if we can get Tanya to make a video for us and say hello or something, seeing as people are missing her terribly. But I'm very happy that Terry van der Walt was able to join us today. Journalist down in KZN. 3 drum rolls, please, for Terry van der Walt, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Terry, for chewing the fat.
Thank you. What fun.
It has been a bit of a chit-chat show today. Not much direction, but I hope you enjoyed spending the time with us.
It was great fun. Thank you.
And Alistair Jameson there in Primrose Hill with all the Zamazamas underneath you. There we go. Brought to you by Extra Space. And I'm Tom London, and I'll say goodbye to you in just a moment after we've said hello to Mario Beltrami.
Hi, Mario here. Buying a Suzuki from us is just the beginning of our relationship.
Hi, I'm Cicero, one of the senior service advisors. Now that you've bought your new Suzuki, once the car's due for service, we will obviously guide you through that process. We are open Monday to Friday from 7 until 5, on Saturdays between 8 and 1 for services. Remember, we are here for you. If you need any advice or assistance, we will happily assist you. The door is always open.
Our business is based on people first philosophy. We care about your vehicle and you. Come join us at Suzuki Kyalami and Suzuki Rivonia, the home of happy customers.
That's Mario Beltrami. If you go along to Suzuki Kyalami, he's the man that you can talk to, give you a good deal on a new or used Suzuki. Plenty of stock on the floor for you to test drive at Rivonia and Kyalami branches at Suzuki Kyalami and Rivonia, the home of happy customers. Terry
And
needs
don't
to
forget
come.
to tell them Tom
sent you. Yeah, if you go there and you buy a car. The other day I was there and one of the salespeople were like, oh yeah, I sold a car from that video you made. I'm like, did you tell the bosses? No. Why? I'm like, hey, you didn't tell them it's working. Terry needs to come back, says Glenda Lawrence. Thanks for the show, guys, says Barbara. Hope you feel better, Tom. I know it's not easy. That's why I listen to the blues, man, Margaret. No, I'm all right now. I kicked myself up my backside this morning, and now I'm fine. Final comment on the show today. Una Guida says, Tom, if my mom makes an OnlyFans account, I hold you personally responsible. As long as I can share in the profits, baby. Yeah! Otherwise, you blame Terry van der Walt. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Alistair.
That's it.
And thank you to
Thanks,
you
Tom.
for joining us on the Tom London Show today. Today was a bit of a chaos session. Just sit and talk and just relax. It's the end of the year. We're all a bit stressed. We all need a bit more money, but it's okay. As long as we're above the ground and bleeding, we're doing all right. I will see you on Tuesday. If not before, I might pop up in the evening and have a late night chat with you over the weekend. Have a lovely weekend. Stay warm if you're in a cold part of South Africa. Stay cool everywhere else. I'm Tom London, and this show was brought to you by Suzuki Kyalami, the home of happy customers.
And don't forget to tell them that Tom sent you.
Exactly.